For a man who gets up at 4:30 or earlier in the morning and says, that's when I have all my good ideas.
That's right.
If you've got another term as sheriff, what are those good ideas? What is left to do?
Oh, there's so much left to do. With technology like it is, things seem to change, as you know, in the business that you're in. So we're constantly improving in our technology, which means that we're improving in the way that we fight crime. So hopefully we can drive crime down even further. We're trying to do something about our jail population. We've been very successful and saved millions of dollars by decreasing the number of folks that we're having to hold in our jail. So at the same time we're fighting crime, driving the rates down, it's the same time that we're driving the prisoner population down, which saves money, and that's why we don't have to go for any taxes, and we're doing very well financially. We'll come up with new ways that we can do everything that we do, from investigations to collecting taxes to serving papers to keeping prisoners. Save ways that we can get people out of jail on bond if we can work with the judges better, which we work with them fine now, but work with the judges and maybe use ankle bracelets and decrease the population on the nonviolent prisoners. Our work release center that we're doing, we got some plans for it. Putting in a dog, I want to do something with these prisoners out there and operating and doing things with some dogs. I love dogs so much, and there's so many dogs that we have to kill each year. Why not try to do something with those dogs, help the prisoners? Maybe a prisoner, if he feels some kind of unconditional love from an animal, he may get the idea that there's something there.
Tell us about Safety. I'm sorry, Safety Town is a big success story. Anybody that's been, and you said, how many kids have been through there in the last year?
We've been at least 40,000 since it started. Second graders alone. That's not including the older kids that do the texting and driving. We've got a car out there, and they have to text a certain thing to the instructor, and it shows that they run all over the cones. And we do daycare centers, and we do special programs, work with the state police, the city fire department, and us. So it's great.
Let me throw a curveball at you, and we haven't talked. You and I haven't talked about this in a long time, but several states are moving away from the death penalty. Louisiana still has the death penalty, though we have not used it in quite some time. Do you still believe firmly in the death penalty, that it's a deterrent?
I used to stand up there and say, yes, I do, and I was real. But the truth of the matter is, we have people like Nathaniel Code that's been out there 20 and 30 years, and it's done nothing but cost us millions of dollars in legal fees, and they still don't have a time that they're going to. The death penalty is not a deterrent, because to be a deterrent, something has to be sure and swift. If I tell my kids to be in at midnight and they're not there, the next day they're on restriction, and they know it's going to happen. And so that is a deterrent. When you tell somebody, if you do something wrong, we're going to kill you, and maybe, we don't know for sure, but maybe we're going to kill you in 20, 30, 40 years, so just bide your time. That's no deterrent. So to say I believe in it, if it was used right, I guess it would be the right thing to do, but it is certainly not used right.
So not in favor of it now at this point.
Well, that's what I say. There's so many conditions on that. If it was used correctly, it would be. And we're seeing so much with DNA, so many changes with DNA and things, and a lot of these DNA cases, it's not saying they're innocent. It's just saying that particular part didn't show that they're guilty. So that's this is a huge subject, and for me to get up here, our world is so polarized anyway.
Sure.
And so people are polarized without having all the facts.
Right.
One more quick curveball, if you don't mind. We've had a couple of police officers in here. We've had, I know for one, Nick Getters, who's head of pharmacology at LSU Health Science Center. And they've talked primarily about, because of what I call the evisceration of the southern border, the influx, the massive influx of drugs, meth and heroin and marijuana at all from Mexican drug cartels. Has that affected this area yet? Do you see that?
Yes, sir. We're seeing more and more, especially in the world of methamphetamine, which the doctor's expert in. And we're seeing less and less of the backyard meth factories up in the rural parts of our area, and the ones that would jump from Arkansas to Texas to Louisiana on the jurisdictional. We're seeing less and less of that, backyard meth deals. We're seeing more and more imported.
Caddo Sheriff Steve Prator running for re-election. We can't thank you enough for your time. And come back any morning. We'd love to have you.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
In fact, you probably give him a key he could open up. He's already awake.
Yeah, okay.